1773 was an action-packed year for Europeans in the New World and Old. In order to understand the more myopic events of the Pacific Northwest, it helps if we have a general understanding of the existential events in other parts of the world, which significantly impacted the results in the Pacific Northwest. The Spanish crown, held by King Charles III, sent orders to the Viceroyalty in New Spain, present-day Mexico, to initiate an investigation into the territories of the Pacific Northwest, which Spain had made claims to earlier. What Spain feared was the Russian fur trade and Russian expansion into territory in the Pacific Northwest and California, and how the Russian presence could undermine their long-standing claims. You might be wondering how Spain knew about the Russians in the Pacific Northwest and Arctic regions, if they hadn't explored it yet. There were documented rumours coming out of England that Spain's northernmost and still uncharted possessions in the Americas could be threatened by Russian explorers. The viceroys of New Spain, José de Galvez and Antonio Bucareli, both influential men in the Americas in their own right, hatched a secret plan to proactively protect the coast of Nueva Galicia, the Spanish name for the Pacific Northwest. A viceroy governs a country or province of a monarch. The etymology of vice comes from Latin meaning in the place of, and roy, an Anglo-Norman word meaning king. In the 18th century, information took a bit longer to get around, and in particular, understanding of the impacts of events. There was no internet, phones, or electricity, and information was written on parchment or vellum. Vellum is animal skin, parchment is more like paper. The Spanish may have known of the Pugachev rebellion. Either way, now was the time for them to solidify their claims. The Pugachev rebellion was getting underway in Russia. This was a massive peasant uprising led by a man named Yemlian Pugachev, who claimed to be the assassinated Emperor Peter III. The revolt challenged the rule of Catherine the Great, which was composed of Cossacks, serfs, and anyone else who wasn't happy with the Russian Empire. This rebellion was suppressed by 1775, but its impact wasn't just in Russia. During this time of crisis in the empire, Alaska and the Pacific Northwest were not hot topics among Catherine's court. Rather, they were more concerned with keeping their empire while keeping their heads on their shoulders. Had there not been this revolt, the world map might look very different today. Incidentally, 1773 was the year the British levied the Tea Act, which led to the Boston Tea Party in December of that same year, and ultimately the American Revolution. Had these events not happened, perhaps there would have been a different outcome in the New World. Wars and rebellions tend to stifle existential activities.